You want to go get some coffee?
I don't like coffee.
Sweet Christmas.
Good morning, Vietnam! You are a toy!
My sons were better men.
She wouldn't even harm a fly.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Never backwards, always forwards. He's Michael.
I am your brother.
And we're talking Luke Cage today. How long did it take you to finish Luke Cage?
Oh.
Because it actually crashed Netflix when it first came out.
It didn't affect mine.
No, me neither.
Yeah.
But it did. A lot of people were
Apparently
complaining.
people were going through some tough times.
But yeah, because like, it just totally... Everyone was trying to fucking watch this thing.
Yeah. This is, I think, the biggest viewed item Netflix has had in a long time. Bigger than Daredevil. Was bigger
I think
than
the
Jessica
last
Jones.
one was
Yeah.
the other Marvel shows.
I know Beast of No Nation was huge, but this... Netflix doesn't crash easily.
No.
So that goes to tell you, people who don't usually tune in, we're tuning in.
But so Luke Cage, what were your thoughts?
Overall, not what I was expecting or hoping. Not that it was bad. However, as far as Marvel properties go, it was lacking.
I would agree.
Question mark?
But the first 1 through 10 episodes were pretty on point. I think it was the last 3 or 4
Really?
got kind of shaky for me.
I think, honestly, the first 4 for me were incredible. Then the next, 13 episodes?
It was the 13th season.
The next 6 episodes were awful. Or, not, the next 6 episodes were slowly going down. Mm-hmm. There's a turning point in one specific episode that I think the show
I know
actually...
what you're talking about,
yeah.
and that's when it kind of
That's
okay.
when I realized
me.
you just messed up because he was my favorite character in the show. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna say what happens, but it's just it takes away from the show. They also change things as the show progresses that you're just like, okay, well, I get that.
I think it started off so strongly.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed the 1 through 10 episodes. If we're going on that scale,
The last few episodes. Were
the last
awful.
few were weak.
Yeah.
But one thing I super appreciate about this is it's a superhero television show where the main attraction isn't superhero related.
Yeah.
It's a very Spider-Man-esque where it's he's got all these superpowers, but he's still got homework to do and he's still got girl issues.
So, but because it's Luke Cage, he's got these superpowers, but he still wants to get that noogie.
And yeah, he's got the police to worry about. And he's still a black man after all.
Yeah. I think, unlike other properties, and I'm going to say even in the movies, I think Mike Coulter is the best casting / portrayal of a character in the Marvel Universe we've had other than Steve Rogers, Chris Evans. He's my favorite.
Wait, say that again? You think it's
I
the
can't
best
say
cast-
I can't say
you
that
think
like that
it's
again.
the best casting? Besides?
Yes, I think Mike Coulter is Luke Cage, and I think you would be hard pressed to ever replace
True,
him.
but I would throw an Iron Man too in that list.
I think you could replace RDJ. I think he's done wonderful, but I
think you
know
can
my
replace
thoughts on-
Captain America. We're not talking about this.
Yeah.
We're not talking about this. Anyways, but I agree. Coulter's top 5 for me.
Yeah.
In Marvel.
Bro, when he says "Sweet Christmas," you're just like, that's hokey, but he pulls it off.
But we've talked about this before. Marvel has done this incredible thing where they can cast the best person, and they don't need to go out and get
Right.
the best.
Right. They get talent.
Yeah, they
in
don't need to
whatever
go-
it may come.
They don't need to go out and get a Leonardo DiCaprio or a Tom Hanks or a big name guy. They can go out and get a Mike Coulter, and they know that he's going to be an incredible choice.
Yeah. Would you fuck Mike Coulter?
Would I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think I would too.
And I mean, I have a good resume of unstarked homosexuality on my.
Of what?
I haven't been gay very long.
How long have you been gay?
Not it's Mike Coulter.
He's turning us all gay. Okay. For real though, the one thing this show does great, his relationship with the women in it, and how they play into his scenario, like everything with his wife Reva, everything with Claire Temple, who they figured into this show wonderfully. I thought she was the best part in those lagging episodes. easily the best part. I hated Misty Knight after a certain point because it's like, all right, you're supposed to be a detective and you're this freaking stupid.
I enjoyed her. I enjoyed
Her sex scene. I enjoyed her sex scene. That was
nice.
about it.
I wasn't even going to say that. I enjoyed how what's the actor's name that did it? What's her name?
But I don't know.
I liked her. The
like-
writing on that character was a little weird.
The writing on that character was awful.
She's
a legit comic character, apparently.
Right,
Who
she-
has, like,
she
loses
loses
her
her
arm
arm.
and
She
can
loses-
become...
It's like a metal,
Yeah.
very Winter Soldier.
Yeah,
Right.
but like a female.
Right.
Which, that could be awesome, but this character makes me go, I don't want to see any more of this bitch.
Right. It was just the writing of the character.
Yeah.
She's supposed to be this amazing detective, but like she can't figure out literally anything.
Anything. Literally anything. How about Luke's a good guy? We gotta bring him down. Like, no! Just
Yes.
super bummed out when this show started going off the rails for me.
But if you had to give it the top strength, what was it? What was the absolute your shining arc, your greatest strength of the show? What was it?
I have always said that if I had to go gay for one man, it'd be Channing Tatum.
Okay, where
now-
is this going?
Follow me on this segue, people. I now have to add Mike Coulter to that list. So
So-
for me, the best part of this show is Mike Coulter.
Okay, now
All kidding aside, I think he's a tremendously talented actor.
yeah,
I really do. He kept me in those episodes when I was just like, I don't want to watch this anymore. Because it would just, to me, it got really bad. If I had to give it a rating, it'd be like a 2.7 out of 5.
oddly specific.
Yeah.
So your strength is Coulter and
Coulter. Yeah, right underneath Miss Claire Temple. Rosario Dawson.
Rosario
kicks ass.
Dawson, man. You can't.
She kicks ass. She's awesome.
Mine is.
She's a Bernie supporter, you know.
I know. Kept calling him Bernard on every
Yeah.
interview.
Thank you, Bernard.
Yeah, my strength is Cottonmouth, the villain.
Ah, fudge.
Right.
Yeah, he was my number one.
Yeah, he without a great villain, it's hard to have a really good
I
story.
think he was the best villain we've had so far.
Out of all Marvel stuff,
Out of our, yeah.
yeah,
I really
I will
do.
say it's all Marvel stuff.
Because he
He's the best
wasn't
villain.
like, okay, what makes a good villain? You know how I said Civil War, I really loved Zemo just because he wasn't a superpowered villain. He wasn't an exact copy of your main hero. He was the representation, the physical embodiment of collateral damage. And he doesn't need to have superpowers to have meaning. And the thing I liked so much about Cottonmouth is he's just this human being who grew up under certain circumstances, has made what he can out of those circumstances, and is still always sitting there in the back of his mind going, I could have been somebody else, somebody better than this. And like just the split between that character and how maniacal he could be was portrayed so beautifully.
The best villains of all Marvel stuff has been the TV show so far.
Yeah.
I put number 1 Cottonmouth and number 2 Jessica Jones.
David Tennant.
I would put him.
Really? Both of them over D'Onofrio?
I'd go 1, 2, 3 in that order.
Yeah.
And then 4 probably Loki. Just
I love D'Onofrio's Kingpin. I do feel that sometimes it can be a little too, Jessica.
true.
You know, but
What makes a great villain for me is you love to hate him.
yeah.
Or like a lot of the other villains, you're just like, if he wins,
Yeah.
okay.
You know what I didn't like either?
What?
I get this show is primarily like, this is, a Black Pride show. I get that. So they went after talented black artists.
Mm-hmm.
Why did they recast someone they've already used in a Marvel property?
Which one?
The woman, Mariah.
Oh, she was in.
Octavius. No, that's not her name. I'm
No,
thinking about
but
Octavius
she was
Spencer,
in,
but that's not her.
She was in Avengers, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was the son of the kid, or she was
She
the
was
mother of the kid.
that died. That
That
pretty much
in
influenced.
Sokovia, that influenced Stark's
Right.
decision. They just reused her as a new character.
Right.
That's like Fox level continuity shit that pisses me off. I don't like that.
I'm thinking their thought process was not a lot of people are going to pick up on this. There's probably some jackass on
But
a
I did.
podcast that's
Yeah.
going to pick it up.
But it doesn't matter though, because like any fan who sits there and goes like, "Wait a minute," And, it takes you out of it. And it's something that takes you out of it deters from the product.
If they have such a great actor where they're going to give her such a major role, why even cast her in such a small,
Yeah.
You killed my son?
Yeah, and that's the thing I don't get to. That could have been played by anybody else.
Right, I could have done
That role. Yeah, that role could have been anybody.
Right.
But they went after, and she's a great actress, don't get me wrong. I gotta find her name. It's bugging the crap out of me.
Right.
Cast of Luke Cage.
But as you're looking up that,
Yeah.
Luke Cage's cast includes Mike Coulter, Simone Cook, and others.
Simone Cook was Misty Knight.
oh yeah, her.
She's gorgeous, man.
She's very cute.
She's so gorgeous. Man. She's 36. Good for her. Alfre Woodard
That was
was Black Mariah, yeah.
Okay.
I don't get why they reused her like that. If you had to rate that show, what would you give it?
I mean, you have to go watch it. I mean, if you're a fan,
For sure it's a watch it.
if you definitely have to go watch it. Is it a drop everything and do it right now, like a must see?
Is it a Netflix crashing
No.
quality? No.
But I mean, that's what Marvel properties have done.
Yeah.
Where it's Marvel properties a must see. This one is a take your time with it, enjoy it.
Yeah.
Don't binge it like us. And
I definitely could have spent my weekend better,
Yes.
in my opinion. And
We
I
could've.
was not the biggest fan of Jessica Jones, but I thought Jessica Jones was a far better show.
I remember before this movie came out, a bunch of
Show?
other reviewers. Before the show came out, a bunch of other reviewers were like, "This is better than Daredevil. This is the
No.
top property." And I'm like,
No.
"All right, I'm getting hyped for it."
No.
It was good.
I think that's people who's honestly afraid to be honest. Mm-hmm. Because it's such a hot topic item.
Right.
Like, if this was like a feministic, like an empowering thing for females, you'd see all the men being like, this is such a... But if it's a piece of shit, say it's a piece of shit. Luke Cage wasn't a piece of shit.
No, it's not. Absolutely.
But it as far as Marvel properties go, it's lacking.
I mean, you and I kind of disagree on this point, but basically what we've kind of said is it starts off super strong, and it kind of falls off towards the end.
Yeah. I think it falls off somewhere in the middle. It does have some... Like, that episode where it was just all flashbacks of Luke in the prison and him meeting Reva was awesome. But I think that was like the third or fourth episode.
I mean, I kind of briefly touched on it too. The other strength for me was the overarching problem. It was a detective show. The overarching problem wasn't I'm a superhero with super problems. It's I'm a black man in Harlem, and this is what we go through every day.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that stuff should be addressed, but at some point, like, especially during the final fight, like, what was that? That was the...
I mean,
that's another thing that bugged me about the show.
Without giving anything away, I agree.
Yeah. That's another thing that bugged me about this show, though. Daredevil, what is it known for?
I mean, when I think of Daredevil, I think of that amazing shot of them fighting in
The fight
amazing
scenes.
fight scenes. That one, like when them in the hallway, the one shot. Ah, man.
Jessica Jones. What was the best part of Jessica Jones?
I mean, for me, it was a villain.
The villain. But it was also how they played the villain into the main character.
Right.
They started with that great action in the beginning, him walking through whatever their Fort Knox thing was, with the car door and tacoing somebody with it. Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
And his going against Cottonmouth was great. And then the real villain steps in, Diamondback, and he's awful. Absolutely awful. One of the worst things I've ever seen in television was this, not just the portrayal, but the end fight was so bad. It was like, these guys used to box. Could have fooled me.
Well, for me too, it was Luke Cage was almost untouchable at some points.
Yeah.
You're like, this guy can literally just walk into anywhere and win. There's no threat.
That's how he should be, though.
I'm
then they go and introduce a threat.
Right, but when they introduced that threat, kind of weak.
Yeah.
I appreciate the Easter eggs, though. That's one thing I do have to give them.
I noticed
Those
just
little-
the Stan Lee poster.
And the corporation that was selling the
Hammer Tech.
Hammer Tech.
I felt like they kind of hit
Not a
the
lot of,
nail with the hammer a little too much there.
funny.
Because
I got it.
you got it? Okay. Well, I mean, everything was just, it's Hammer Tech, it's Hammer Tech, it's Hammer
But
Tech.
for those that don't know, Hammer Tech, it goes back to Iron Man 1.
Sam Rockwell was Justin Hammer in Iron Man 2. He's like a cheap knockoff of Tony Stark and Stark Industries.
Yeah, it's the rival of Stark Industries.
Yeah.
Just a fun little thing for people to, hey, check this out. Here's a cool little thing for you.
Aren't they out of business though after Iron Man 2? Doesn't he go to jail?
Clearly not.
Alrighty, listen. I said alrighty.
You did say that.
I say it all the time on the phone at work.
Sweet Christmas.
Sweet Christmas. Listen, guys, if you like Marvel, this is definitely something to check out. It's not worth missing. I do have my problems with it, but I still would go back and watch it again.
Plus-
As a matter of fact, I'm probably going to.
Plus, what's coming up after it? You have Iron Fist, and you got the
Yeah,
Defenders. So,
that's what I wanted to ask you. Do you think they're going to do, instead of Luke Cage Season 2 and instead of Iron Fist Season 2, do you think they're just going to do Heroes for Hire season?
I'd be on board for that.
I'd
They should
prefer
totally
that.
just combine them.
I'd prefer that instead of sitting there going, all right, we have to do
Another.
4 shows, then the Defenders, 4 seasons, then the Defenders, 4 seasons. No,
They have to sit through 26 more episodes, and
Yeah.
then they'll get the Defenders or something.
Yeah, no, because we're getting Iron Fist, then the Defenders. The next season should be Heroes for Hire, and it should be the 2 of them.
They should. That's actually a really cool idea.
I'd like that.
Totally.
All right, guys, signing off. It's great to be back. I know it's been a while. Sorry, it's been so long. We've had some stuff. There's a new addition to my family.
Oh, God, here we go.
I am a father of a brand new German Shepherd puppy.
Like, you're the only one excited about this.
You love him.
I do.
He's a good guy.
He's a good guy. He can stay.
He can stay. All right, guys, but we're glad to be back as always.
He's Michael.
And I am your brother, Nick.
Keep it tight, people.